I didn't like my initial
in
issue.
the back.
Honestly, you know what? Kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is important. Hello, everybody. My name is Lachlan, and I am writing the Stanchies for today's game between the Vancouver Canucks and the Washington Capitals. We are currently at the Pacific Coliseum. We just wrapped up Golden Eyes practice today. I'm here with Izzy Cheung from the Hockey News. Izzy, are you going to the game tonight?
I am not going to the game tonight.
You'll be watching on TV, though, I imagine.
I don't know if I want to or not.
That is honestly a great point. The Canucks are playing some of the worst hockey they've ever played. They have lost 11 straight games. They're going for magic number 12 today against Washington. And they're facing a Capitals team that has been playing quite well this season. They have a goaltender who is going to the Olympics in Logan Thompson. They have a forward who's going to the Olympics in Tom Wilson, who I believe is playing today.
I believe, as of the reports from the Washington Capitals practice, they were unclear, but there is the potential that he could play.
That's something to keep an eye on because he's a player who plays very physical. He is going to make it a lot harder for a younger, smaller Canucks team to create any sort of offense. And right now, offense has been very hard to come by for the Canucks. And honestly, the biggest story out of this game might be the fact that this is very well could be Alex Ovechkin's last game in Vancouver. And honestly, I'm going to say right now, full disclosure, I wanted to go to this game tonight. I wanted to go to the game as a fan. Alex Ovechkin is one of the players that I have never seen play live before. Like I've been fortunate enough in my life that I've seen a lot of great NHL players before, like Crosby. I've seen McDavid. I've seen Matthews at an All-Star game once. That doesn't kind of count, but close enough. Close enough.
Seen him.
Yeah, I mean, he makes All-Star moves in regular games too, so it's it's close enough. But Ovechkin's just one of the few players that's eluded me over the years, so I'm kind of disappointed I'm not going to be able to go. I hope he plays one more game in Vancouver before he calls it quits. But if this is his last game, what do you think what is his legacy to you beyond just his goal, the all-time goals record?
Inspiring heated rivalry alongside Sidney Crosby.
That is definitely a new aspect to his legacy. That's a new chapter in there. Is heated rivalry. Have you watched the series?
I actually have not watched heated rivalry yet.
Oh, so you're a fake fan then.
I'm a fake fan who's just using it for the clicks.
Using it for clicks. Aren't we all? I'll probably throw a reference to The Cottage in there at some point during the Stanchies today. My biggest legacy in terms of Ovechkin is going to be I will never forget how much he hated playing against Roberto Luongo back in the day because it was the one goaltender in the National Hockey League that he could not figure out, whether it was in the Olympics, whether it was in Vancouver. He just could not score on Luongo consistently. And I believe there's a quote of him at one point being like, "Oh, Luongo, I hate that guy," at some point because it was the one guy who had his number time and time again. I think at the end of his career, he has ended up scoring quite a few goals against Luongo simply because the Panthers and the Capitals shared a division for quite a while after he got traded. But still, when a player who scores as many goals as Ovechkin does has a disdain for playing against you because you stop him all the time. That's a feather in your cap right there. And, not that Luongo needed anymore. He's a Hall of Fame goaltender. The only thing missing is that banner at Rogers Arena that's not there. Looking forward to this game is really just the fact that you're going to see what a cup contender or at least a playoff team truly looks like because the Capitals are playing great hockey. They are everything that the Vancouver Canucks should want to be down the line. They've not necessarily gotten there the conventional way, at least in recent years, but the Capitals are a team that started out by playing quite badly back in the early 2000s. They got Alex Ovechkin in the draft, and now they've had some of the most sustained success in the NHL over the last 2 decades. Like that's the type of team building that you want to see the Canucks go through. Maybe hopefully it would take a little shorter to get to a Stanley Cup than it did for Washington. But again, Washington got it done. They got their Stanley Cup at the end of the day.
But will the Canucks get theirs?
Well, I think that's a question for another day. Another year entirely. We're not here to talk about whether the Canucks are going to win the Stanley Cup anytime soon because we can't think that way, really. We can't.
Too far
yeah, exactly. We can't afford to think about whether the Canucks will win the Stanley Cup. You know who we can think about potentially winning a championship down the line, though, is the Vancouver Golden Eyes, who we're here to watch practice today. We talked to two of their new players, Anna Meister and Manon McMahon. What did you think of them today?
I like their game. I like what they provide so far. Of course, we haven't seen them in game action yet. That's coming to you tomorrow at 7 p.m. from the Pacific Coliseum against the Toronto Scepters. But I've liked what I've seen. A lot of speed. You can tell that they will be bringing that to the lineup. And, of course, Anna Shokina as well. Shokina.
That's right, Anna Shokina.
Anna Shokina as well is also a new addition for the Golden Eyes. A bit of a wild card in the sense that you don't know what you could get from her. She's shown that she can put up points at the PWHL level alongside a team like the Golden Eyes. Could she kind of further her progress so far? She is still a first-year player. She's still a rookie. So, of course, might take a bit of time to gel, adjust, but that's your wild card.
Absolutely. I mean, I think just the fact that these players seem to bring a lot of speed into the lineup is something that's been so clearly missing from the Golden Eyes over the course of the first half of the season. I think that in itself will hopefully improve things noticeably out of the gate. I think the other thing for them is just they're going to play ideally with more chemistry. There'll be more passes hitting the sticks properly. I know the team really wants to get more traffic into the middle of the ice. They want to play the game less along the boards and more in the middle of the ice. Ideally, if these players from Ottawa can do that for you, that'll bode really well for them in the second half of the season. There's still a lot of hockey left to play. They're not, unlike the Canucks, who are undoubtedly not making the playoffs at this point, the Golden Eyes are completely still in the race. They're not out of it by any metric. And it sounds like tomorrow it's going to be a very full crowd here in the Pacific Coliseum, and that's going to hopefully spur the Golden Eyes onto a victory.
And Coach Brian Adolski loves hearing the ABBA, so keep the ABBA coming, Golden Eyes fans.
That's true. That's true. We did hear that Brian Adolski and the coaching staff they think the atmosphere in these buildings, and the players as well. They've all talked about the atmosphere in Vancouver and how great it is, and how crazy they think it is whenever the fans start singing in the middle of the game. So keep that energy up. Well, Izzy, thank you so much for joining me for this video. Where can the people find your work?
So I do stuff for both the Canucks and the Golden Eyes for the Hockey News. So yeah, bottom feeder right now. But I also do a podcast with Nicoletta Panos, who is also of the Hockey News women's site called Hockey Actually. We upload every week. Usually the day depends on the team's schedules, but you can count to see it around the weekend. So
perfect. And you can find my work at CanucksArmy.com. I'll be writing the Stanchies tonight after the Vancouver Canucks and the Washington Capitals at 7 p.m. on Sportsnet. See you there.